What if you traded your usual American breakfast, buttered toast, coffee, maybe bacon or pancakes, for a Japanese-style breakfast for just 7 days? It sounds simple, but this switch is bigger than you think. Most American breakfasts lean heavy on sugar, refined flour, saturated fat, and a caffeine spike. Japanese mornings, by contrast, are light, savory, balanced, and designed to keep the body steady for hours. This isn't about raw fish or restaurant-only dishes. It's about simple building blocks you can assemble at home with minimal fuss. For 7 days, imagine starting your morning not with a sugar surge from orange juice and pastries, but with gentle fuel from rice, soup, protein, and vegetables. Your energy feels steadier, your digestion calmer, and your joints just a bit lighter. American-style mornings often chase alertness through coffee and quick carbs. Japanese mornings build stamina through warmth, minerals, fiber, and modest protein. A typical plate in the US might be pancakes with syrup, bacon, and a large latte. A typical Japanese tray might be small portions of rice, grilled fish, miso soup, a few pickles, and green tea. One way leans toward a spike and crash morning. The other leans toward slow, steady release that keeps you moving without mid-morning slumps. Here's the honest part. Not every Japanese person eats this way today. In big cities like Tokyo and Osaka, many grab bread, yogurt, or a latte on the run, just like anywhere else. Yet in many homes, especially among elders and outside major city centers, the traditional breakfast still appears on the table. That continuity is why it's worth testing for a week, even if you adapt parts of it. The goal isn't to pretend you're Japanese, it's to borrow a morning pattern that respects your body. You can keep what works and ignore what doesn't. Expect day 1 to feel unfamiliar if you're used to pastries and sweet cereal. By day 3 or 4, many people notice calmer digestion and fewer mid-morning crashes. Warm soup hydrates and wakes the system without jolting it. Small servings of protein and vegetables support muscles and joints without heaviness. Variety matters more than volume in this meal design. Several small bites cover more nutrients than one oversized plate. You don't need specialty stores to try this. Rice, eggs, leafy greens, broth, canned fish, tofu, and green tea are widely available. We'll walk through exactly what a Japanese breakfast looks like and how to adapt it for a Western kitchen. You'll get a simple plan to test for 7 days without spending a fortune or cooking for an hour. Most importantly, we'll keep this real. No myths, no perfection, no romanticized promises. Just a practical experiment you can actually feel in your body by the end of the week. 7 days won't change everything, but they will show you what's possible. And once you feel the difference, you'll know which parts are worth keeping. A traditional Japanese breakfast is more like a collection of small dishes than a single plate. Each element is modest, yet together they create a balanced and nourishing start to the day. The foundation is usually a bowl of steamed white rice. Rice is the anchor, plain but filling, and it pairs with almost everything else. Next comes miso soup, made from fermented soybean paste. It's light, salty, and warming, often with tofu cubes, seaweed, and scallions floating in the broth. Protein is usually simple and lean, like a piece of grilled salmon, mackerel, or a rolled omelet called tamagoyaki. These proteins are small in size but packed with flavor. Vegetables appear in pickled form, crunchy cucumbers, daikon radish, or eggplant. These pickles add a tangy bite and aid digestion. Seaweed, often in the form of nori sheets, brings minerals and subtle ocean flavor. It's common to wrap a bite of rice in seaweed for variety. Green tea is the drink of choice, offering calm energy instead of a caffeine rush. It hydrates while delivering antioxidants. Put together, these foods emphasize balance, not indulgence. There's a mix of warm and cool, soft and crunchy, salty and subtle, all in small amounts. But it's important to be honest. Not every Japanese household eats this way today. In urban areas, many people choose toast, yogurt, or coffee for speed and convenience. Still, among elders and in smaller towns, the traditional breakfast remains common. It's a cultural habit that connects food with long-term health and stability. What makes this breakfast unique isn't just the ingredients, it's the portion size and the diversity of nutrients. Instead of one oversized plate, you get several tiny ones. This encourages slower eating and natural portion control. Each bite feels intentional, not rushed. It's also deeply seasonal. In spring, you might see bamboo shoots. In summer, fresh cucumbers. In autumn, mushrooms. In winter, pickled daikon. The meal shifts with the year. For Westerners, this style of eating can feel foreign at first. But with small adaptations, like swapping rice for oatmeal or adding eggs instead of fish, it can fit into everyday life. This isn't about copying Japan perfectly. It's about learning why such meals keep energy steady and joints supported well into old age. By experimenting with these patterns, you can build a breakfast that respects your own culture while borrowing the strengths of another. That's the real secret: balance, not imitation. Before we dive into the results of a 7-day Japanese breakfast experiment, here's something important. If you'd like a step-by-step guide to the same foods and habits that keep Japanese elders active well into their 80s and 90s, I've put it all together in a simple resource. You'll find it in my book, The Japanese Anti-Inflammatory Diet After 60. The link is in the description if you'd like to explore it at your own pace. Now, let's dive into what really happens when you try a Japanese-style breakfast for 7 days. Many Western seniors ask, will this be hard to adopt, or will it feel natural? The truth is somewhere in between. First, the benefits. A Japanese breakfast is built on balance, a combination of protein, vegetables, fermented foods, and a modest portion of grains. Unlike sugary cereals or heavy pancakes, this meal stabilizes blood sugar, which means fewer mid-morning crashes. Another key benefit is gut health. Miso soup and pickled vegetables feed the microbiome with beneficial bacteria. This doesn't just help digestion, it can reduce joint inflammation, which many seniors struggle with daily. But here's the part most videos don't mention. Not every Japanese person eats this way anymore. In Tokyo or Osaka, you'll see plenty of bakeries filled with white bread, pastries, and coffee. Western-style breakfasts are common in modern Japan. That's why we need to avoid romanticizing the culture. The classic Japanese breakfast is still more common in rural areas, among older generations, and in traditional inns. For Western seniors, this means you don't need to copy every detail, just adopt the principles. One adaptation could be replacing white rice with brown rice or quinoa, if that feels better for your digestion. Another could be swapping grilled salmon for sardines or even eggs, which are easier to find in Western supermarkets. Some people may find miso soup too salty or too unusual at first. In that case, start simple. Try just the rice, eggs, and vegetables, and add miso later if you enjoy it. The point is not perfection, it's consistency. What happens after a week? Many report better digestion, less bloating, and lighter mornings. Instead of the heavy crash after bacon and pancakes, the Japanese breakfast gives sustained energy without the fog. The challenge, of course, is preparation. Unlike pouring a bowl of cereal, this meal takes more time and effort. Washing rice, grilling fish, chopping vegetables, it feels like work. But that's also part of its hidden benefit. The act of cooking itself becomes gentle movement. This is where mindset matters. If you see breakfast as a chore, it may discourage you. But if you treat it as a small daily ritual, an investment in your health, the effort becomes part of the reward. So, can Western seniors adopt this habit? Absolutely, but with adaptation. No need to import exotic ingredients or spend hours cooking. The secret lies in balance: protein, vegetables, fermented foods, and a light grain base. If you try it for 7 days, you may notice small but meaningful changes. Less inflammation, more steady energy. And perhaps most importantly, a sense of care for your body that sets the tone for the rest of the day. Trying the Japanese breakfast for 7 days is not about copying every detail, but about discovering what works for your own life. Some people may find miso soup too salty in the morning, or fish too heavy. Others might love the lightness, variety, and sense of balance it brings. The goal is not perfection, it's adaptation. When you compare it to the classic Western breakfast, toast, butter, jam, bacon, or a sweet muffin, the difference is striking. One is built on sugar and quick energy, The other is built on protein, fermented foods, and vegetables that support gut health. Neither has to be good or bad on its own. The power comes from choice and balance. For seniors especially, this balance matters. The Japanese breakfast provides steady energy without the sugar spikes that make you tired later. It also brings in natural probiotics, omega-3 fats, and fiber, all important for joints, digestion, and brain clarity after 60. Still, no one is saying you must give up your morning coffee forever. You can enjoy both worlds. One practical tip is to start small. Instead of replacing everything, add one Japanese element to your usual routine. Maybe miso soup alongside your toast, or a small bowl of rice with your scrambled eggs. Over time, you can explore more: pickles, seaweed, or even grilled fish. This way, your taste adjusts naturally. Another reflection is about culture. Not all Japanese people eat like this anymore. In Tokyo and Osaka, many have embraced Western breakfasts: coffee, pastries, even fast food. But in smaller towns, and especially among older generations, the traditional breakfast is still alive. This shows us it's not about being authentically Japanese. It's about making intentional choices that support health. For Western seniors, the biggest challenge might be convenience. Prepping soup and fish in the morning feels like a lot, but you can simplify. Miso paste mixes quickly with hot water, and leftover salmon from dinner can be used at breakfast. Think of it less as extra cooking, and more as smart reuse of ingredients. Some viewers also mentioned gardening, walking, and staying socially active as keys to aging well. The Japanese breakfast fits into that picture because it encourages mindful eating and portion control. You don't rush through a sugary donut in the car. You sit, you taste, you nourish. That pause becomes part of a healthy rhythm. If you try this experiment, expect surprises. You might notice better digestion by day 3, less afternoon crash by day 5, and maybe even stronger legs by the end of the week, thanks to the extra protein and minerals. Food shapes energy, and energy shapes movement. But don't expect magic. You won't become Japanese overnight. You won't erase every ache. What you gain is perspective. The understanding that food can be more than fuel. It can be medicine, culture, and even a reason to sit with others instead of eating alone. That lesson is universal. So, if you're over 60 and wondering whether to give it a try, my advice is simple. Experiment. Mix, match, adapt. Keep your coffee if you love it. Add miso soup if you're curious. Use leftovers to make it practical. And most importantly, treat it as an invitation to care for yourself, not a rule you must follow. In the end, the Japanese breakfast is not about Japan. It's about you. It's about reclaiming mornings as a time to set the tone for the day, with food that supports movement, focus, and dignity in aging. And if you try it, even for 7 days, you may discover that breakfast can be more than a habit. It can be a lifestyle choice that keeps you strong. Trying the Japanese breakfast for 7 days is not about copying tradition. It's about rethinking what breakfast means for you. In the West, mornings often begin in a rush, with coffee in one hand and a piece of toast in the other. But slowing down, even just a little, can make a difference. The Japanese approach reminds us that food can be simple, nourishing, and intentional. Rice, fish, and soup may sound unusual at first, but they provide protein, healthy fats, and probiotics that support energy and mobility, especially after 60. More importantly, this style of eating asks you to pause and take care of yourself before the day begins. Not every Japanese person eats this way today. Many enjoy bread, coffee, or convenience store meals, just like in America. That honesty matters because it shows this is not about an exotic, unreachable culture. It's about choosing habits that bring strength and balance, no matter where you live. So, if you want to try something new, start small. Add miso soup once a week. Replace bacon with grilled fish one morning. Or simply share breakfast at the table instead of eating alone. These little choices add up, shaping not just your diet, but your mornings, and in time, your health. And if you'd like to explore more of these habits, from daily recipes to small rituals that keep Japan's healthiest elders strong, I've prepared a simple guide. You'll find the link to the ebook in the description below.